back to steal some studio lighting. We did it, fam. We made it to episode 400, and I cannot be any more thankful for everyone who's tuned in, for every guest that has given me their time. It definitely means the world to me. So I truly appreciate all of you. I appreciate all the support. It always humbles me whenever I talk to anybody that lets me know that they listen, they're a fan, or whatever. It means the world to me. And 400 episodes is a lot. So this is something that I started back in 2017 in my bedroom when I lived in Westminster for a short period of time. And then I went full time when I went back home to Palm Springs for a short stint. And this is crazy. But before we get too deep into all the sentimental stuff, shout out From Within Records, Carter Holmes. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the support over the years. Carter and From Within Records has been supporting what I do for a really long time. And like I've always said publicly, I'm From Within Records till the day I die. Amazing label, doing something amazing for hardcore. So shout out Carter Holmes. If you're not following From Within Records on social media, please go boot up X, go boot up Instagram, click that follow button to stay up to date on all the current news. Shout out Good Fortune Printing out of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Shout out Neighbor Shooty. I love the SWB. It's an amazing place. I love going there. It's seriously so amazing. So shout out Nate. I appreciate all of your support over the years. To think that our friendship started over Facebook and I've gone and stayed at your house. You've took care of me over the years. Thank you. I appreciate it. I am so happy. Weekly's back. You know, I got to squeeze in the K-pop. Weekly's back after a long hiatus with their new album, Colorize. Please, if you're at least curious about K-pop, go listen to Weekly. They're amazing. Colorize out now. Go listen to Vroom Vroom, A+. It's all good. Great stuff. But on today's episode, it's a very special one. Obviously, we're celebrating 400 episodes of the JMRK podcast. We had to track down our good friend Lexi, sings for a band called Spaced out of Buffalo, New York. And I was able to film this in person, which was awesome. They were on tour and they were playing Chain Reaction. So I linked up with Spaced before the show. We went to downtown Disney to film this interview, which was not something that I thought would go over so well, but it did. So shout out to Downtown Disney for being so supportive. It was great to finally meet all of them in person. The majority of the band has been on the podcast before. You can go look back at the past episodes, and this is something that I wanted to do for a long time. So for it to be on episode 400 definitely meant a lot to me. Thank you, Lexi, for being down. Thank you, Spaced, for letting me film random stuff while you guys were in town. It was awesome. I'm a huge fan of Spaced, and I'm happy that they're doing so well. Signed to Rev, touring the world, and I could not be any more proud of them. So please, if you're not familiar with Spaced, boot up your Bandcamp, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. Go check out their new music coming soon. But please, strap in, enjoy this conversation. Without further ado, welcome Lexi to the show. Lexi, you're here.
Jamie, I'm here.
I appreciate you so much. I appreciate Spaced so much. That's the reason why you're here, right?
Yes.
Spaced has finally made it to California. So
Yeah.
I'm so excited, and I would not have missed this for anything.
Oh, dude, you're the best. It's like, one, I'm very excited to be in California finally and on the West Coast. Like, this is something we've been trying to do for a while, and like, thankfully, like, Spy asked us to do this tour, and it like fell into our laps that we could like do this. But also just like, you've been so supportive of us forever, and like, I'm really glad that like we could finally meet. Like, we've been talking about it. Like, yesterday, Donnie's like, I'm so excited to finally meet Jamie. So it's like, we're all really appreciative of you.
100%. Yeah, like when I went into the coffee shop, which is like this weird, like crazy, like moment of like happiness for me, which sounds weird, but like, cause like that's like my spot, right? I'm there like, you know, multiple times a week. So when you're like, oh hey, like we're in the coffee shop, I was like, all right, cool. Like no better place to meet for the first time.
Yeah, like the universe put it into our laps like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and the coffee shop was amazing.
Yes, Insight Coffee. Go grab yourself the best coffee in the world.
I got a strawberry latte with oat milk, delicious.
Amazing, but yeah, but just walking in there and seeing you guys in person, it was just like, oh my god, they're actually here. This is insane. And I was actually kind of nervous, like rolling up, even though like, you know, like we've been friends.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I have so many friends on the internet. Like, literally those 2 friends I was telling you about from the UK. Like, when I first met them, I was like, oh my god. Even though like I talk to them like almost daily, but like meeting someone for the first time is like always scary.
Okay. All right. Well, can we talk about how Space ended up on the West Coast?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're on tour right now with Spy.
Okay.
It's like Spy, Initiate, Toner, and Caveman. And like this lineup's gonna like flip flop a bit because it's like the typical hardcore tour where it's like, well, let's take out as many bands as we possibly can, like forever, for whatever dates they can do. But we played with Spy twice in Europe, and we played with them before.
Okay.
And so Peter's like familiar with us, and like Peter's the homie, so I was like, hey man, like it was super fun playing with you guys in Europe. And he was like, dude, I love Space, like I love watching you guys, I would love to play more shows with you. And then like a week after we got back from Europe, I was telling Donnie about it because Donnie was in with us. He was like, you should just like DM him and be like, we will do those shows if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
So I like hit Peter up and I was like, I'm being serious when we will do any shows that you want. And he's like, yeah, I'll talk to our agent. And so like a couple weeks after that, we got the like ask of the tour, and it was just super cool because it was like Spy's one of my favorite bands. I love seeing them live, and like this is such a perfect lineup too because I've been listening to Initiates since like 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember my friend went and saw them at Chain Reaction with Movements and was like, dude, you would love Initiate. And so I've been listening to them for so long, and they were like one of those bands that I didn't know if I'd ever get to see them because they don't come out to the East Coast ever. And thankfully they are soon. But so it's just like really cool, and the vibe was super awesome last night. Last night was the first night of tour, and I'm really excited to hang out with most of those people for the next like week and a half.
That's awesome. And can you talk about what it feels like to finally be on the West Coast? Because when you take a step back and you look at all the tours that Space has done, right? You guys have gone international, been all over the East Coast. You guys have played the Midwest. Can you talk about what it's like to finally be here, even though it's only day 2?
Yeah. So like, I feel like when I think about like our past shows and like where we played, it like makes sense the like reaction we would get and like who like supported us. But last night, like, it was kind of crazy to see that we were getting a reaction in Las Vegas, where we've, like, prior to this tour, the farthest we've gone west was Tulsa, Oklahoma for Act Like You Know. So the fact that, like, there's people that are, like, DMing us being like, I will be there tonight at Chain Reaction, or, like, I'll be at this date, and just, like, finally being here and finally getting to be all the way across the country and, like, having people support us is honestly fucked up, but like really cool.
Yeah, and the Space, just as a band, you guys haven't been around for too long, but I feel like you guys have done so much because obviously we're friends. I follow you guys on social media, follow the band on social media, so to see you guys go all over the world in such a short amount of time, I think that's like insane, but also really cool that you guys are willing to take those opportunities, because a lot of people, obviously it's hard to get up and actually, take those steps to go international.
I mean, I feel like it's honestly a blessing that we have a van. Like, that is like the biggest like part about touring, and thankfully it's like Dan's dad's van, so he's so cool about letting us use it whenever, as long as we like take care of like the maintenance, which we do. So like, It's, and like a lot of us have jobs that are flexible, and it can let us take time off when we need to, and yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like when I look back on it, I'm like, wow, we were grinding, like we've grinded to get to this point, like we're always on the road. But when I like I'm here right now, it just feels normal to just like be doing this, and it doesn't really hit until like I'm home and then I'm thinking about it and I'm like back to my day-to-day thing, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to be on tour again. It's just like, and we do it so often, so it's just really cool.
And is it hard to transition back to normal life when you're, consistently out on the road, all over the place, and playing a hardcore show?
Not anymore, but like I remember we did a weekend run with Gel last like February, and when we came back, I had so much fun. I was like depressed for a week, but now like I get home and I'm like, okay, now I just have this show to look forward to or this tour to look forward to. And I just like kind of count down the days until we're back on the road. So now it's not as hard, not as hard of a transition. It's pretty easy now, mostly because I just look forward to what we do next.
Okay. And you guys recently announced that you signed to Rev, which is awesome. Local label, legendary label. Can you talk about how that even came about?
Yeah, dude, Scott Vogel, that is the best person in hardcore, and like he lives in Buffalo now and is just super supportive of us and like other bands in the scene, and he kind of just is like, all right, you guys have been doing it for like a really long time, what can I do to help? Like, is there a label you want to be signed to? And we just like kind of like named off a few, and Revelation was one of them, and he was like, yeah, I'll hook you up with that. And Sammy Siegler, like legendary hardcore drummer, works for Rev, and like hit us up immediately and was like, hey, Scott told me about you guys. I really like what I hear from like your music. I think you guys have a lot of potential. Let's talk. And so we talked to him for a few months and like other people from Rev, and then we signed the contract in May. So it's been sitting on it for a while, so it was cool when we finally were able to announce it, because it just so happened to fall on the day of the Spy Tour. And he was like, yeah, let's make it happen. And it still doesn't feel real. We're actually meeting Sammy for the first time tonight. So that'll be really awesome. And like we're in the final like part of finishing the record and like getting all the like art and digital stuff together for like tapes and vinyl and things like that. And then we will be able to release a single, and that's crazy.
And from May to the announcement, why'd you have to wait so long to be able to announce it?
I think that they just like have like a schedule, because like I know Pain and Black is releasing something, and like this is their first album back in a long time, and like they had like some, I think, reprints of like some Gorilla Biscuits and like Youth of Today stuff, but just like some older bands. So it's like just like having to wait is something we're not used to, because like NMZ, like Nick was always just like, all right, let's announce it this day in like 2 weeks. So that's just like real like big label stuff where they're like, yeah, we have an actual cycle and like timeline that we have, and you have to just fit into the timeline. We're like, yes, whatever you say, like as long as we can do it.
Okay. And can you talk about the next release? Is it going to be a full length or an EP?
It's a 12-inch EP, so it's going to be like on a normal size vinyl.
Okay.
But it's 8 songs, and I'm really, really proud of it. We're all really proud of it. I'm really excited for it to be released. I listened to it a lot. I actually need to send it to you.
Oh, wow.
I was going to send it to you earlier and I forgot.
It's okay.
So I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
But we worked really hard on it. We recorded it in May. And yeah, I'm really excited for people to hear it. We're playing a song off of it this tour. And so far people have liked it, so that's good.
And what's it like for you guys to to have so much done in May, but here we are, summer's already over,
Yeah.
We're getting towards the end of the year. What's it like for you guys to have to sit on a lot of stuff? Like, do you guys have to pause creatively when it comes to, do you guys even think about writing new music, or are you guys?
We did pause, but I
Okay.
don't think it was like intentional. It was like, we're just so busy right now, we don't have anything to write. But like, I remember, I think it was like a week or 2 ago, John was like, I started writing riffs again. I'm gonna send it to you guys soon so we can like start writing for the next record. So it's like I let the guys like create something first, and then I like sit on it and like throw my impact, like my input into it. But I think we'll be start writing probably after this tour, like fully on to something next.
Awesome. And as far as being, the singer in the band, can you talk about what it's been like these past couple of years? Like things that you've, learned that you didn't know before getting into something like that?
Yeah, so this is my first band.
That's wild, right? First band, and you guys have done so much cool shit.
I always tell people that, and they're like, shut up. And I'm like, I don't know, it fell into my lap. Like, Donnie was the one who brought it up, and like, it just happened that it's John, Joe, and Dan who like are also just like really good musicians, and they've been doing stuff for so long. But I didn't know what I was doing at first, and I loved hardcore, but I feel like I've learned so much more about the scene and the genre in these past few years, and like that has affected like me as a vocalist and like my appreciation for the genre and like being around it so much. Like I'm immersed in it like all the time now. Like that's my life, and it like I listen to like older bands and like think about like, oh, that's a really cool like vocal style. I wonder if I can incorporate that into what I'm doing now. And like on this next record, like I did things that I haven't done before.
Okay.
And that's like a shout out to Jay who recorded it. He'd be like, yo, what if you do this instead of this? And like, what if you do like this, like vocal projection? And so it's so funny because I think I watched the Hate 5-6 set from Act Like You Know last year.
Okay.
And I thought I didn't look like my stage presence wasn't as great as it is now, and like I don't think I sounded as good as I do now. So just like with every show, I'm like improving and like taking like things like, okay, like let me do the Scott Vogel like crowd talk right now, or like, oh, let me do like a screech that's like similar to like Cat from Scowl or something like that, or like a growl that's like similar to like Sammy from Gel, like just all these people that like I'm always seeing and like inspired by, but also like some people that I can call my friends. So it's just really like I'm always learning and taking things, and that adds to what I do now.
Yeah, I think it's really important, especially to even try new stuff, right? Because if you just kind of box yourself into just what you're comfortable with, there could be so many missed opportunities.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's cool that during the recording process, Jay may have had some suggestions and you were willing to try it. That's awesome.
Yeah, it like we were talking about that the other day because we listened to it, and John was like, it's really cool that Jay is like able to pick up on like what could enhance a song, and like it honestly has made it sound as best as it could in my opinion.
Yeah, no, shout out to Jay, because that's awesome too that he's even able to make those kind of suggestions, because sometimes people they'll just not really care that much, but for someone who's obviously working with you guys on the record, for him to actually want to have some input and just make some suggestions, I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, he's the best.
Okay, and you've been on so many cool tours. Can you talk about some of your favorite places that you've played in these past couple of years?
Definitely, like, I love the Midwest, like, hardcore. There's not much to do there, but, like, the shows there go crazy. Like, Bloomington, Indiana, shout out Chance and Betsy in, like, Full Stride, Velocity, What Counts. And then Springfield, Illinois, like, the people there are doing amazing jobs, but, like, Milwaukee is a place I want to shout out. We just played Indianapolis for the first time. That was super awesome. Yeah, those, like, I love playing in the Midwest because, like, I am always confident that we're going to do well there. But, like, when we go overseas to, like, Europe, Lyon, France, anywhere in France, like, they love hardcore. Paris hardcore is crazy. It's so cool. And, like, we had a show that I really like. Oh, we played Leeds in the UK. Leeds. That was really cool. Bunch of like young punks, which like they just were like, I don't know what music this is, but I'm gonna stage dive and I'm gonna like mosh to it, and that's like the coolest like thing ever. So yeah.
Yeah, I find it really interesting, right? Just a young band like Space, who's gone international multiple times. Like I don't think that's really that common in younger bands. So for for you guys, what's the motivation there? Because obviously, I'm assuming, right, the first one went so good that you guys had to go back.
Yeah. Shout out to our agent over there, Matthew. He's with Avocado Booking.
Okay.
So he hooked us up with the first tour we did over there with Comeback Kid, and like, I love those guys. Like, those are like my hardcore fathers.
Okay.
Like, they are so like kind and like took us in and like give us advice whenever we need it. And so last year it went so well, and our agent was like, yeah, you have to come back. And this time we went with Buggin', and we were direct support, so it was like smaller like venues and like more DIY, which like that's the coolest shit to me, to see like DIY in a different country. And it was just like, we had a lot of repeat fans being like, oh, I saw you at Comeback Kid, I had to come and see you again. And then like, I think my favorite set we played over there was Eberfest, which is like the longest running hardcore fest over there.
Yeah.
And like, oh, this set was so fun. Like, people were like, I had like a rush to the stage for Prove You Wrong, and I was like, oh my God, I'm literally in Belgium. And these people are like singing along and like going nuts. Some kid broke his foot during our set.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I was like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. And I was
Just
like,
my broken foot.
yeah, literally. I was like, all I can offer you is a t-shirt. Like, I can't really give you much else, but he was super cool about it. But yeah, hardcore over there, it's like, I feel like they're a little bit behind on like the culture because it's like such an American thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But even like from last year to now, like I feel like there was a huge difference. Like I remember I met this kid, he booked us in Brighton, and he was wearing a Wreckage shirt. And I go, Wreckage, like I love that band. And he goes, yeah, I saw him at FYA. And I was like, you went to FYA? And he was like, yeah. And like he was telling me, like, I don't know if you saw the videos of like Scowl at this church in the UK.
No, I haven't seen it.
It was like in this church, and he's like, yeah, I like put all my life savings into that show so that way they could play it. And I was like, that's hardcore right there.
Yeah, that's, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, and he was like, I would do it again. Like if it meant like bringing like cool bands here to the UK. I was like, damn, like that's like that's like hardcore for hardcore right there.
Yeah, because to be super dedicated to just
Yeah.
put up all the because that's money that he worked for.
Mm-hmm.
So to love a band like Scowl so much, which is cool. Scowl's awesome.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, so just like, it was cool getting to see like the actual like hardcore kids, because I feel like Comeback Kid can like, they bring in an older audience. So it was cool to like meet some younger crowd, like faces, and like, the cool thing about Europe is that if they like you and they saw you once, they will come again for the rest of their lives. So it's like the people that we had an impact on this time will probably be there next year when we're there.
Okay. And from, going there from the first time to the second time, did you have any expectations?
I don't know, honestly, because like our first time over there, I knew that we would have to work to like gain fans, and this time I was kind of like, okay, I'm probably gonna have to do the same thing, but I didn't have to work as hard, like, because there were people that would be like, oh, I know the words, and like I'm gonna mosh no matter what.
And obviously, I've never experienced anything like that. Is that an insane feeling to be on the other side of the world and people singing along to a song that you wrote?
Yeah, we were in the Czech Republic, and there's this one kid, I forgot his name, I think it's like Tom, actually it's definitely something that's like super Czech, but he came to see us last year at Brutal Assault when we played in the Czech Republic, and he came again to this other fest, and I'm like, and I was watching like these people mosh, and that's the farthest we've gone.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's so awesome that you guys, are able to go out there and have that kind of support, right? So, and you just mentioned, but when you guys go back again, so are you already planning a third trip?
Yeah, our agent was like, you'll be back next year. And he's like, I'm working to see if I can get something in the winter. I don't know if that'll happen, but he's like, we'll for sure have you something in the next summer.
Now, for those kinds of tours, like, what would you prefer? Like, the bigger tours with Comeback Kid, or the more DIY stuff with Buggin'?
I kind of like the idea of like flip-flopping between the two.
Okay.
So like maybe next year will be like with another bigger like hardcore band, and then like maybe at that time we'll have enough of a following we could do our own tour. But I mean the big tours are cool because they give you catering and like you get a nice little comfy green room, but also like I love DIY.
Yeah.
Like
for
I'm
sure.
okay with just sitting at the merch table and like finding the nearest convenience store and like just getting a couple drinks and snacks and chilling.
Now, what was the best thing to eat overseas, in your opinion?
Kebab, which is like shawarma,
Okay.
stuff like that, because they can make it vegan so easily. So like Joe and John, they're vegan, and I eat vegan as much as I can, so I'll do that too. But actually, when we were in Paris,
Okay.
we were like at this like bit of a touristy area. It wasn't like near the Eiffel Tower or anything, but like I had the best pizza I've ever had, and they had like this chili oil that I could like put on top of it. It was
Okay.
delicious, and I had really good ramen in Brighton, UK.
Interesting. That's awesome. I'm like always fascinated by food. I feel like I'm always on like TikTok.
Yeah.
So especially out here, I let like I follow like a bunch of foodies.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I kind of let them do all the hard work in finding the good spots, and I just have like a few key local people that I have never missed. So
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, if they're posting about it, like I'm gonna go out of my way. Like I'm gonna drive to Lake Forest, which is like super far south, which
Yeah.
I'd never go to Lake Forest. But if like they're recommending a spot like somewhere down there, like I'm more than willing to go.
Oh, I hear you. I'm the same way. Like I love food so much. I plan most of my trips around where I'm gonna eat.
Okay.
Like when we're going to a new city, I'm like, okay, like what's near the venue? What should we eat for dinner? What should I eat for dinner? I love food, so that's probably my favorite part about touring is like the food I can eat.
Yeah, I feel like that's awesome to be able to, cover so much ground and travel through so many cool cities with different, cool options.
Yeah, like where did we eat? I think we had something really good. Actually, we had Olive Garden recently, and I haven't had Olive Garden in
Okay.
a minute. That was smacking. Actually, the ramen place we just went to, that was delicious.
Okay, yeah. What's funny is like that ramen spot is like middle tier.
Oh yeah, I can tell it was.
Yeah,
they
but
did
like
the job.
I wish I could take you guys to like some hitters. Obviously, like this is like very limited amount of time. But next time, I want to take you guys to somewhere really
I'm down.
good. Okay.
We love ramen.
Okay. All right, but I'm way curious about Olive Garden. Like, what's your Olive Garden order?
I just get like pasta with marinara sauce.
Okay.
But like the breadsticks are vegan.
Oh, they
And,
are.
like,
I didn't know that.
They use oil instead of butter.
Okay.
So for the first like few days of this, it was just me, Joe, and John because Dan was sick and Donnie was working, which is the funniest thing that it was just three of us. So we went to Olive Garden. I was eating vegan with them because they were both vegan. So we went to Olive Garden and it was super yummy, and you can't go wrong with it, And
No.
when you're there, you're family.
100%. Always family. That's wild. Okay. And you're on this run with Spy right now. I'm just curious. Is there anything past this tour that you can talk about?
When we get home, we have a few weeks off. We're doing just like a bunch of one-offs, which is really cool, and like a 1 weekend run. But we're playing with Tsunami in Toronto.
That's
on
awesome.
November 3rd. It's
Yeah.
Tsunami and Gasm.
I love the international flavor, right? Because I'm like an advocate. I'm like, Canada's right there.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like, obviously, I know there are connections with the border towns, but I feel like there should be like a stronger one, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I love Ontario hardcore. Everybody there is like so nice. They love space. I love almost every band that comes out of Ontario is like perfect.
Okay.
But it's so fun going over there. So yeah, we have that on November 3rd. November 5th, we're playing with Painted Black for one of their record release shows at the church in Philly.
That's
I'm
awesome.
very excited for that.
Have you ever been there?
I saw Drain there.
Oh wow, that's a wild show.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was like their first time on the East Coast, and they played on the floor. They didn't even play on the stage.
Oh wow,
It was
that's
nuts.
interesting.
That was so yeah, I'm excited to play the church finally. We have a couple shows with the Armed, and I think it's like the 16th to the 18th or 17th to the 19th, whatever weekend that is. And we're doing like Baltimore, New York City, Boston, and they're like big venues, like Irving Plaza and Baltimore Soundstage.
That's crazy.
I know. So I'm gonna like have the Zoomies on stage running around, and then there's something not announced yet that people in Buffalo should keep an eye out for,
Okay.
and Sweatfest in Michigan.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so that's one thing that I really liked about Space is it seems like you guys are always busy. Just out there putting in the work. Traveling to so many different places because I get that it's hard for people to tour with like people got their personal lives, jobs,
yeah.
and so I totally understand that. But for you guys to be able to make it work, I think it's really awesome, and especially to cover so much ground, because like I said, I follow you guys, and to see you playing in so many different places, I think it's awesome and smart too to get in front of certain markets, places that a lot of people that normally don't go to.
I know, yeah. I mean, I'm someone who, if I don't have anything going on, I think I'm gonna lose my mind. So it's nice to like always have something happening with space. Mm-hmm. That means I have always something happening.
Mm-hmm. And have you ever been exhausted since you guys have such a busy schedule?
The only time I've ever been tired was when we were in Europe this past summer. Okay. I got sick because I was so exhausted.
Oh wow.
We only had one off day throughout the entire tour, mm-hmm. and it was to travel back to the UK. So I got like sick from like not really sleeping that much. So that was like the only time, but like I don't regret it. Like I would do it again if I had to.
And I'm curious, obviously, before we all met up, Donnie was at the gym because he had to get it in. But
he had to get his pump in.
Do you ever think about your health since you're always doing so much traveling and out there so much?
I try to eat pretty decently.
Okay.
Take that with how you will. But John brought a jump rope. We've been jump roping every day.
Nice. Okay.
And the guys like to like bring like a football or a baseball and like throw the ball around. So we've been doing that too. I'm sure as I get older, I'll become the person that's like working out on tour, but like I'm not there yet. The jump rope is good.
Yeah, you're still young, so you can worry about that a little later.
Once I hit 30, I'll start doing it.
Yeah, what's funny is that Donnie and I were actually talking when we were driving here. And we're the same age, mm-hmm. and it's just so funny because like we could totally relate on our health and just being older in the scene.
I've talked to Tyler Short so many times about like getting older, and he's always like, you've got to make sure that you're stretching before your sets, and you have to like eat healthy. And I'm like, yes sir, like whatever you say.
Yeah, God, I love Tyler Short. Shout out Tyler Short.
Yeah.
He's a dear friend of mine, and that's cool that he's giving you good advice because he's. I've seen him, hurt himself, and
oh my God.
Yeah.
I think almost every time because we played with Constraint a few times.
Okay.
Every time that's happened, I think he gets hurt. Like I remember Act Like You Know, he got a bloody nose, and then he still was moshing for every band. I was like, you're a madman.
Yeah, that reminds me of Inclination played FYA. I think it was like FYA 7. And I don't even know what happened, but it was like an epic moment because like they turned on the lights for their set, and like that totally changed the whole vibe, and it made it feel like way cool. Yeah. I don't know whose idea that was or how it happened, but the start of their set, his nose was just bloody, and there was so much blood for their whole set. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, and like the whole time I was wondering, I was like, did he get hit or what happened? But yeah.
He must have something where it's like if he moves too fast, like elevation change. Okay. Maybe he just gets bloody noses, because like it happened again at Act Like You Know, and I was like, are you okay? I was like, should I grab you some napkins?
Yeah, next time I talk to him, I'll have to ask him, get to the bottom of why he's always getting
why are you always bleeding?
Yeah, why do you always get these crazy bloody noses? Okay, want to put a pause on Spaced.
Yeah.
You're a fan of K-pop, which
I'm
a sucker for, and I try to poison everybody.
I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I got my photo cards here.
That's awesome. Yeah, because the intro, the outro to the podcast has always been K-pop.
Oh yeah.
I'm always posting about it, so people who follow me know that I love it. But I'm just curious about your journey with K-pop. Like, how did you get into it? Because as long as I've known you and I know that you're into it, I only have ever asked you about how you got into it.
You know what? I think I got into it through anime, because a lot of like groups will do like anime openings.
Okay.
But the song that I started listening to, it's by Day 6. It's called Stop the Rain, and it's off their Japanese album.
Okay.
And I think I just like saw it like on like an anime account, like saying like, oh, this song's really good. So I was like, oh, I'll listen to it. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. Then I like started listening to BTS, and then like it was NCT. And then like I started listening to more like girl groups and just like expanding like my taste in K-pop. I will admit though, like I haven't been keeping up with it as much because I've been so busy.
Okay.
But like I try to pay attention to like 17, NCT, ATEEZ, like Seraphim, New Jeans, aespa, like the ones that I really care about the most.
For sure.
Because those are like the ones that I would like. Because there's not. We were talking about this earlier. The tours don't come to like near Buffalo. Like the closest they get is Toronto, which is only like 2 hours.
Yeah.
But sometimes they won't even hit that. So it's like I always am like, okay, like who's coming to Toronto soon? Like Twice came and we were on tour, so I couldn't go. But like I've seen 17 there. I saw ATs in Jersey with my friends, but those are like the groups that I would pay attention to the most and would want to go and see.
And I'm a new fan of ATs, right? Because obviously, like I know that you've been a fan, but when I went to KCON recently, like my buddy Ben, shout out Ben, I haven't even told him this, so he doesn't even know, but I credit him for kind of putting me on to ATs, because we were walking into, I think like day 2 of like KCON, and some LA radio station and like McDonald's had like an outdoor stage, and we didn't think they were going to use it because the hurricane was coming through.
Oh yeah.
So it was like a real big pause, like nobody knew if we were going to use it or not. But when we were coming in, ATs had just hit the stage, so we're like, oh shit, like they're gonna perform, like we gotta watch this. I'm like, I'm down. So we're watching ATs, and my buddy Ben's going off about it. He's like, yeah, like they're pirates.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's so cool.
I didn't know that, because like, you know, like I said, I'm not a fan, and I didn't really know anything about them. So I was like, wait, what do you mean they're pirates? Because like I just got into One Piece, so like I'm like really into like pirates right now. He's like, yeah, he's like, they're pirates, and I'm like, no way. So he started like breaking down their lore and like what they're all about.
Their lore is insane. I still don't really truly understand it, but like it's so fun that I don't care.
Yeah, because to me it was like, okay, this is just another popular boy group. But when I found out that they're like pirates and there's like, you know, cool lore behind it, I was like, all right, I need to invest. So getting to see them outside, and then they did like a cool like interview inside, and they did like a couple performances. I was like, all right, I'm hooked, even though I'm late. Like this is so sick.
And the coolest thing about them is that they come from like a company. For anybody that doesn't know, there's like K-pop companies that like have multiple groups, and their company is like was bankrupt when ATs like debuted, and because ATs has done so well, they like got out of bankruptcy and like are actually like making money and like making a name for themselves. Like they just debuted another boy group called Rise, or that might be the NCT group. I forgot the name of it. I haven't paid attention, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But it's cool though, like the story behind them. Like it literally was like they had $5 in a dream and just went for it.
Yeah, and it's crazy because when they were performing, like it always blows my mind, because obviously, like, you know, I stan more of the girl groups.
Yeah.
But whenever I go to any like boy group concert or performance, I feel like I get kind of like reminded that like they're on like a whole nother level.
They like, especially ATs, like I can't like pay attention to like many other boy groups now because I just don't think they put in the effort that ATs does. Like I love 17 and I love NCT and like them, but like ATs are like really great performers. All of them can sing. Almost all of them can rap, like, and just like their personalities are really cool. They like appreciate their fans a lot. Like, live, laugh, love ATs. I love them.
Yeah, and what was it like to go see them in Jersey? Because for me, I've never been to a proper ATs concert. I've only seen them at KCON.
So I brought my 2 friends. One of them was like kind of a casual fan. One doesn't listen to K-pop, and she was like, I just want to go because it sounds like fun. And like AT's fans are so nice. Like, it was just like a really good vibe. And I was like higher up and like I was like in the nosebleeds, but like I didn't care because I was like able to see everything. Yeah. And like there's just so many like layers to their performance. It was so awesome.
Okay. And you know, we're coming towards the end of the year. Do you have any K-pop concerts coming up, or are you done for the year?
I don't, unless like someone announces something in Toronto, because sometimes I pay attention to it. But I think the only one that I'm like really thinking about that's gonna be announced soon is 17.
Okay.
But that won't be until next year, so we'll see.
Yeah, and going to K-pop concerts is so expensive.
Yes.
Yeah, like I feel like there's like this crazy onslaught because, like, you know, Twice came back, and for us out here, which I hate how like the market is out here for like K-pop, because like we're in California, all the K-pop shows go to LA, which is like such a destination, so we're, you know, battling not only the locals but everybody else in the world that wants to come here. So it's just like, okay, like looking like, because I'm in a Discord with like, you know, some awesome people who like share the same love for K-pop. But we're like, okay, do we stress about going to LA, or should we just pack it up and go to like Houston, where it's like not as popular, so it's way more accessible for us? So it's crazy. And then shout out to my friend Lonnie. She lives in Louisville, So you know, she's had tours like Card, you know, come through, and it's like so much easier to get tickets to those kinds of things out there because it's not this like, you know, destination.
That's kind of the same with Toronto because it's like that's the only Canadian date most of the time. So a lot of like Canadians will only go to Toronto. So like when I went and saw 17, like I bought my ticket the day off of like Ticketmaster.
Okay.
And it was like great seat. I won't disclose how much I paid for it.
Okay.
But it wasn't too much. It was in my, I had a price range that I wanted to pay for and it was in my price range. But like I was like, if I don't get the tickets, it's fine. But like I drove to Toronto before I bought my ticket. So I was that confident.
That's crazy. That's
and then
crazy.
I got it, and I like sat next to like this girl, and she was super awesome.
Oh wait, you went solo?
Yeah, I went solo.
Oh wow.
It was so fun.
Okay.
I'd
No,
do it again.
Yeah. No. I went and saw twice for the first time solo, just because like I was like, you know, got into K-pop during the pandemic, and I was like, all right, I'm so obsessed with Twice. When they come back, or if they come back, like I'm gonna be there no matter what.
Yeah.
And none of my friends, I didn't have K-pop friends at the time.
Yeah.
I had to do so much alone until I just managed to come across the people that I'm friends with now. But yeah, like that Twice moment, like I'll never forget the drive home. I had like, because I went to night 2. I didn't go to night 1 because I wasn't sure like what the vibes were, if I was gonna really enjoy it. But driving home from night 2, I had like, you know, the post-concert depression.
Yes, same. That's like the first time I've experienced it in a long time.
Yeah, and I remember I told myself, I'm like, all right, if Twice ever comes back, if there's multiple nights, like I'm doing both nights. There's no way one is gonna be enough because the way that I'm feeling now, like I never want to feel this again.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt after 17. Like I woke up the next morning and I just like watched my concert videos and I was like, I'm sad. Like I wish they would come back soon. So. Yeah, I haven't felt that way since like One Direction.
One Direction, that's awesome. That's cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope everybody who's watching or listening, and if they're not familiar with K-pop or if they are dabbling, right? Because I know so many people who will reach out to me. They're like, hey, like, you know, just because you talk about it so much, like I've checked out a couple of things. And I'm like, all right, that's awesome. I didn't know it would actually work. But K-pop's awesome. It's so. I feel like it's so much more popular now and way more common that, you know, I feel like people who are curious or just dipping their toes, I feel like they should just kind of jump in and you know, just check it out because it's music, right?
Yeah.
I get that, it's foreign, people may be like a little afraid, may not know where to go, but I feel like there's a K-pop group out there for everybody.
Yes, exactly. Like New Jeans playing Lollapalooza this year and like TXT headlined it. And like Blackpink playing like Coachella and stuff like that. Like it's so much more accessible now and like it's just so fun. Like that's the best way to explain it. It's just fun. Like you don't have to like get as deep into it as like you and I are.
Yeah.
But like you can still like listen to a song or an album in like one group and still have so much fun.
Yeah. And your friend that went just because it sounded like fun, how did they have?
Oh, she loved it.
She loved it. Okay.
She was like, anytime you need me to come to another show, let me know. And I was like, absolutely.
Okay.
So now I can go to New Jersey because she'll come with me.
Awesome. Yeah, I have a couple K-pop things for the rest of the year. Like I was telling you earlier, I mean it's all in October, so it'll be a good time. But Triple S, they're hitting Pasadena, and then Stacy is hitting the Novo in LA. So
that's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. But I'm hoping. I'm like, okay, please let Stacy be the last thing of the year, because like I said, those things get so expensive. Like I would be completely fine with not having to, you know, spend more money.
Yes, I know. Yeah, like sometimes I'm thankful they don't come through so I don't spend the money.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, getting back to Space. New record soon. Have you guys settled on a name? You don't have to reveal it here. I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's gonna be called All You Ever Get. I can't remember it right now.
Okay, one of the two.
Along those lines,
okay.
yes.
Awesome. And is there a window that you guys are shooting for on the release?
I think early next year.
Okay. So like how early? January?
Honestly, I have not confirmed that.
Okay, all right.
But like probably a single in the next few months, and then another single after that, and then the release. So I would say like February or March.
Okay. And for me, I'm a huge fan of music videos. You guys have experience with that. Is that something you want to revisit with the new record?
Doing 2 videos for the
Oh,
singles.
2? Okay.
Hopefully 2.
Okay.
At least one for the main single. Like we have it planned out, and it's gonna be fun.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm super stoked. Obviously, you know, I've loved everything that Space has done. You know, I was so confident in the very beginning. Like I said, like, you know, going back to like that day that, you know, I listened to the demo from when I drove from Orange County up to Sylmar nonstop. I was like, this band has it. I hope they can figure it out and, you know, get big, because you know, with what you guys did with the demo, I felt like you guys were so talented that I've always believed in you guys.
Jamie, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you've been a day one supporter. We appreciate you so much.
100%. And even behind the scenes, I've texted a lot of people that you know, I'm probably, you know, annoyed about Space, but you know, I've always you know, believed in you guys, and you know, and I'm honored to be able to call you guys friends, and it's always cool for me to be able to sit back and watch you guys, you know, have such great success.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. We all do.
Okay. And I didn't tell you this when we started recording, but this is going to be like everything I'm recording today is for the episode 400 special. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 400. So.
Wow, 400 episodes. Good for you.
Yeah. So I'm happy that we're able to do this today, and I'm going to film some of your guys' set tonight. So.
Hell yeah.
So that'll be in the next clip. But before we sign off, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Just like shout out Buffalo Hardcore. Shout out to our friends band, Sign Language, Full Stride, Velocity, Enervate, Prevention. Yeah. Shout out Spy for this tour. Initiate, Toner, Caveman. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Lexi. Where did the guys go?
They're over there.
We're trying to call the rest of the band over here because they're sitting off camera, trying to get them to come on camera. But before we
all of us?
Yes.
John's coming.
John's coming, but not the rest of the band. John, thank you for being the only one to show up. We just wanted to have a sign off with the rest of the band.
This is all you need.
No,
Okay.
they're coming
I'm
now.
kidding.
Okay.
I think they were confused.
Yeah.
Well, I said all of us, and you were like, yeah. And then I was like, come on, they all want us to come over, and they're like, yeah.
We're trying to get one big sign off with all you guys. All right. Shout out Space from Buffalo. Amazing hardcore band. You guys want to say anything before we go?
Buffalo Hardcore worldwide.
All right. Appreciate all of you. Like I was telling Lexi, I've always believed in you guys, love you guys. So thank you for everything.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jamie.
All right.
Jamie's our dog.
Yeah. Bye, Jamie.
See ya.